So I was talking on mute. So today we'll be starting with the Prometheus monitoring tool. So any idea on what is a monitoring tool and why do we need a monitoring tool? What is its importance in the DevOps CI/CD, or like how it is important to us? Any idea?
No, Preethi, from DevOps side, not
Okay.
exactly. But from infrastructure side, yeah, for monitoring the resources, we use it.
Yeah, here also the same to monitor the resources. It could be a server to monitor the server status, to monitor the service status, to monitor any resource consumption, resource utilization, the availability of resources. All of them will be monitored. Not only that, networks, routers, anything, any device can be monitored, right? There are certain projects, certain applications which needs continuous monitoring. Particularly for us, like a DevOps CI/CD approach, everything is automated. Our infrastructure should be ready for the next step of deployment, where monitoring is crucial part. Monitoring plays a crucial part. There are also projects where they need, there might be some telecom devices which needs continuous monitoring. Their status should be visualized by the clients in the form of some dashboards where Grafana come in. So there were so many monitoring tools as well as visualization tools, so that the visualization tool helps in providing better visualization of the things it has monitored or the metrics it has monitored, right? So monitoring is very important. And there were hundreds of monitoring tools. There were plethora of tools, plethora of ways like how this monitoring can happen. Nowadays, Prometheus is gaining the market. It is ruling the market, I can say. Prometheus monitoring with Grafana for visualization. This combination is great and it is doing well, particularly for container-centric environments. Ours are container centric. In our class, we have deployed microservice application in the form of containers, everything on Kubernetes. So then again, Prometheus is a great tool. Of course, it can also monitor non-container environments as well. But still, Prometheus is great for container centric environments. And yeah, it's a very simple tool, easy to learn, easy to use, and it has great purpose in the real world. Right? I can say Prometheus alone, there were jobs on Prometheus alone also, but very less. But yes, there were tools or there were projects or there were roles, only expertise in Prometheus, but very less, only Prometheus monitoring less. But yes, still we have jobs only for Prometheus. You master Prometheus, so you have a job as well. So, but very less when compared with other tools. But because they just monitoring, a person who have to do just monitoring, right? That particular role having a lot of importance means obviously will have a lot of pressure, but less kind of roles, less kind of things where you need only monitoring. But as a combination, yes, in the project you have so many tools. Prometheus is one of them. Yeah, so that's a brief on monitoring. And like I said, there were hundreds of tools. Each tool has got their own cons, their own pros, or else their own strengths and weakness. Like if you say Prometheus is not great in monitoring the applications, like application data, application information, whereas you have app dynamics and so on. So yeah, you have different ways, different tools for that. Coming to Prometheus or any monitoring tool, another important feature is it should not only just monitor the resources or the servers and all, it should also give us warning, isn't it? That's very important. I mean to say, it's not just giving you the error or else some critical issue comes and then it informs. It should inform beforehand. Correct? So that's very important, informing beforehand kind of warning so that technicians or people can step in, see that the actual system doesn't go down, right? Like let's say disk space is 70%. It should inform us at this point itself, not when the disk space is completely filled and the application is down or server is down, business goes down, right? So that we can take timely actions. That is another important part of any monitoring. Like you need warnings, right? Rather than informing when you have the actual scenario. And alerts play another important role. It's not just simply monitoring, it should also inform, alert the teams, alert the people. All of them are possible with the Prometheus. Each tool has got its own configurations, its own architecture. Same as the case with Prometheus. Let's go to the Prometheus architecture. Okay, so this is now, by the way, Prometheus can monitor any servers like Linux, Windows also, but Prometheus should be installed on Linux machine only. Any distribution is fine. So it needs Linux. So Prometheus will be installed on Linux and it can monitor any target machines or hosts, whatever you call them. On that Prometheus server, we need components. It will have component whenever we install Prometheus. It will have three components like data retrieval worker, TSDB database, means time series database where metrics will be collected and stored as per the timestamp. Okay, and then there is also UI for Prometheus, Prometheus GUI, where you can check the metrics. And this UI is deployed on a web server, a HTTP web server. And you have to run some commands to grab the metrics. Those are nothing but queries, PromQL queries, Prometheus query language. Okay, it's very simple. It's not like a separate language. You can just add some filters to grab the data you want. So these are the main components. Actually, Prometheus works with a pull configuration. Means, let's suppose you have a target. Prometheus targets from targets, it will pull the metrics, right? Prometheus will pull the metrics from the targets. So those targets, like they will expose the metrics to an endpoint. Let's suppose that there is a target machine. This target machine should expose its metrics to an endpoint or a URL, means some port number or a URL, right? Then Prometheus will pull the metrics from this endpoint. Means, let's suppose, okay, there is some Linux VM. It will expose, means it has got so many details like a CPU usage, memory stats and so on. It will expose, or means it will put all of them to an endpoint or a URL which Prometheus can understand. It's a text-based format. Okay, Prometheus then will pull from this URL. If the target doesn't expose, Prometheus can't pull. So some of the targets expose those metrics by default. For some of the targets to expose its metrics, we will be installing something called exporters. But whatever the concept is, target should expose the metrics to an endpoint on URL from where Prometheus will scrape the metrics. The terminology is called scraping the metrics. Scraping means pulling the metrics at regular intervals. It will scrape the metrics, right? That's what is data retrieval does. It will pull the metrics from the targets. Unlike other monitoring tools, like if you take Nagios and all, they'll push the metrics. Push-based architecture, it is overhead to the monitoring tool. So here Prometheus will just pull the metrics and stores them in the TSDB, time series database. Once it stores the data in TSDB, again, like it accepts them, like it stores here, and whenever it has to display on the UI, the PromQLs will be executed on this TSDB and shows them on the web server. Those are the main components. If you see here, that's a Prometheus web UI, and alert manager, it's another component. You have to configure it separately for Prometheus to trigger the alerts, right? So those are the components, and that's the process of execution in Prometheus. I'll repeat. Any target, if Prometheus have to monitor, means it has to pull the metrics from that target. Okay, but so for Prometheus to pull this target, should first expose them to an endpoint or URL, like a port number or some URL. Once it exposes it, see, whatever we were talking here, like it should expose the metrics, Prometheus will pull the metrics. We will see all of them practically. Okay, try to understand theoretically. You will get the visualization when we start the lab. So Prometheus will expose the metrics to an endpoint, and the targets will scrape the metrics from this endpoint. right? That's how Prometheus architecture works. And all this data will be stored in the local database. It's a key value database where data will be stored in the form of key value pairs, no SQL database. It's also called time series database because data will be stored as per the timestamp. Here data is nothing but the metrics. Metrics will be stored as per the timestamp. Are we good? Any questions?
So where this Grafana will come here? Is it a
Grafana is a
separate tool?
separate tool. It's a
Okay.
separate tool. We have to integrate your Grafana with Prometheus to have better visualization. Grafana is a tool which can be integrated with so many other tools, not only Prometheus. It's a visualization. Means, see, Prometheus has got a UI. This UI is not great, or you cannot customize it if you have some client requirements, or if you need custom dashboards, that's not possible here, which Grafana provides.
Okay.
So if you are good with this architecture and process of execution, if you get an idea, we will step in and install Prometheus. Prometheus setup is simple. It can be installed. It can be installed on the server directly, like on an EC2 instance, or else you can also deploy it as a Docker container. You can do either ways. We will deploy it as a Docker container here. Do you remember we deployed Prometheus as a daemon set in Kubernetes?
Preethi, in HTTP, you
Mm,
mentioned that it accepts PromQL queries.
mm.
What is that? Is it SQL query? What exactly?
PromQL, Prometheus query language, like structured query language. It's not SQL, it's PromQL, Prometheus query language. It's like a filter. You add some parameters to grep your data. Let's say I want to grep certain data. You write some parameters there. Those are called queries through which you grep the data, grep the metrics, whichever you need. Like, see, whenever you're searching any page, you pass the filters, right? Let's say you're searching for some house. You send which location you need, what type of house you need, how many bedroom house you need. You pass so many filters to grab the data. Similarly, to grab your data, you pass some filters in the search of this UI. Okay, those filters you provide the parameters, and that is the query actually.
Okay.
I'm launching a new server. On this server, you may install directly Prometheus. I'll be deploying it as a Docker container, meaning here I have it is on the official one, Prometheus. Yeah, do you see Prometheus? Bitnam is Prometheus one. From so many vendors, we have Rancher Prometheus, Rapidford Prometheus, Alert Manager, and so on. Right? You have so many things. We'll be using some of them. So let's launch server where I'll deploy this Prometheus container. And this is going to be the Prometheus server. I will install Prometheus here. Along with Prometheus container, I would also like to deploy few other containers. Go to Prometheus official documentation. Prometheus.io documentation. Okay, you can see Docker run. You Prometheus default port is 1990 port forwarding. Prometheus. This is a Docker image. You can deploy this way, right? Directly a single container, or else you can also deploy them. I want to deploy Prometheus along with Grafana. And to monitor, I want to deploy another DB container like Redis database container. So what if you want to deploy multiple containers? What do you do? How do you deploy multiple containers? Yeah, this is the manual. Do you remember Docker Compose? If you want to deploy multiple containers, you can use Docker Compose. That's what is done for Docker Compose YAML file. This is for Prometheus. This is for Grafana is not here. We'll add Grafana. This is for Redis. This is for CA Advisor. CA Advisor is a service which will pull the metrics from other containers and expose to an endpoint. Okay, first let's forget about it. I want to deploy Prometheus as a container. So how do you do that? What are all the things we need to install on this server? If you
Docker.
want to deploy, tell me,
Yeah, Docker.
you should install Docker, right? So let's go to this server, install Docker.
What is it? A Redis? Is it a database?
Database, like SQL.
Okay.
Docker will be installed, and then Docker is installed. What else we need here? See, now, okay, fine, I can run Docker container. But what I need is, I would like to deploy, along with Prometheus, like I said, I want to deploy Docker container for Grafana as well. I would like to deploy other things. Grafana and Redis, some database, let's say MySQL. I want to monitor it, so I just want to deploy it. How to do that? Yes. How to deploy multiple containers? Docker Compose, right?
Compose.
Yeah, let us install Docker Compose as well. If you remember installing Compose, we download the binary and provide executable permissions to the binary. So downloading the binary and then we'll provide executable permissions to it. Done. Okay. Now we need to create a compose file. So first let me create a directory. I will need a proper name. Docker compose. Okay, here let's put the compose file. See, here it is. You have to define, do you remember Prometheus? Redis for testing. Redis is a database. So this is also from official image. It runs on 6379, something like this, right? I would like to add Grafana as well. Here, 3 containers defined. One is Redis, one is Prometheus, and CA Advisor. I would also like to add Grafana. Everything coming from official image, see? And what is CA Advisor? CA Advisor is a service actually, which will pull the metrics from other containers. Means Prometheus container, container metrics, Redis container metrics, everything it will pull and expose onto an endpoint. Prometheus needs to pull the metrics, means they should expose them to an endpoint, right? CA Advisor does that. From there, it will monitor. Okay, so I have prepared a Docker Compose file similar to this by adding Grafana. Let me show you. See here. See services. So I have defined 4 services: Prometheus, CA Advisor, Redis, Grafana. Prometheus coming from this image, official image, container name is Prometheus. I'm forwarding it to the same port on the host. And command. See, for Prometheus to run, prometheus.yml file is required. That's a configuration file required to run Prometheus. Okay. So that's this configuration file and volumes. You have to attach the volume. Otherwise, how do you pass it to container? So I'm passing this to the Prometheus YAML. Means I'll put Prometheus in the same folder and attaching and placing this in this path inside the container. Etc Prometheus / Prometheus.yml. This is the file that should be present for Prometheus to run. Either it is installed directly on the server or inside the container. Okay, so I'm passing it. Then this is dependent on CA advisor because CA advisor should start first. CA advisor, I told you, like it's a service, okay, which will pull the metrics from other containers. So it will pull the metrics and expose them on an endpoint. Prometheus will pull them from there. Because Redis doesn't expose by default to an endpoint, Grafana doesn't expose by default to an endpoint. Even this Prometheus container will not expose its metrics. CA advisor will grab all those metrics from other containers, put them to an endpoint from where Prometheus will scrape. Am I making sense? Understood this logic? You don't need to understand all of this. These are the CA advisor configs. This is the one. It's coming from GCR official registry, Google Container Registry. Okay, I'll repeat here. See, CA advisor, what it does. CA advisor will collect the metrics. This will collect metrics from other containers. And also it puts them on a URL. That's what Prometheus needs, right, to monitor. So Prometheus will monitor or scrap the metrics from this URL. Redis metrics also from this URL. Every container, every other container metrics from this URL. Right? So let me save this much. Grafana's default port is 3000, forwarding that. Now we need Prometheus.yml file. We need to pass this through the volume. Okay, so what do you put here? The default configurations. Like, see, Prometheus needs a target, right? Prometheus is not monitoring other containers. It's monitoring only CA advisor. Because CA advisor will put them to an URL. It will collect and put them to a URL. Prometheus will monitor from that URL, scrape metrics from that URL. Got it now, everyone? This should make the things clear. Now, how many targets are there for Prometheus? It has to monitor all of the containers, but only one target, CA advisor, because CA advisor in turn is collecting metrics from everything else and putting them onto an endpoint. Got it? So,
So CA advisor, it is acting as a gate then.
Kind of. Because, like I told you, every target should expose the metrics to an endpoint. Redis will not do it. Grafana container will not do it. Prometheus container will not do it. Prometheus can monitor its own container, right? So CA advisor will collect all the metrics, put to an endpoint. From there, Prometheus will scrape the metrics. So only one target, which is CA advisor. CA advisor's default port is 88. Here you have default scrape interval, like every 5 seconds it will scrape. So default scrape configs. This is what present in Prometheus.yml. Now I want to run. What is the command to run this compose file? Right? Docker compose up -d. So many errors. What happened? Docker compose. Docker compose is installed. Good. They were all intended properly. Indentation. Good. One minute. Docker is not running. That's the problem. Start Docker. Now Docker Compose. Yeah. Now see, it's containing the creating the network prefix with this folder name. First Redis, because all others are dependent on Redis. Then CA Advisor, if you see CA Advisor, because Prometheus and is dependent on CA Advisor. You may set the dependency anyway. Actually, there's no problem in changing this order in this particular case. Yeah, Redis, Grafana, CA Advisor, Prometheus, right? Let's see. Docker images, you can see all of them. Docker PS, you can see all the containers as well, right? So yeah, Prometheus is on 1990, CA Advisor on 8080, Grafana on 3000. Let's see. Let's add all those ports. This is the server. Ninety 8080 for CA Advisor, Grafana 3000. I have forwarded to same port, so now let's get the IP. See, this is the Prometheus UI. This is what the graphical user interface of Prometheus. And here, if you go for status, targets. How many targets? Only CA Advisor is the target, right? And it runs by default on 88. So on the same server, hit that on port 8080 CA Advisor. See, CA Advisor, what it does? Docker containers. See all the 4 containers: Prometheus, Redis, CA Advisor, Grafana. Redis container, all the data, CPU utilization, processes, codes, everything it has got. See, do you see that? Yeah. And here, if you go, Prometheus data. Even Prometheus, it is monitoring its own container, other containers as well, the CPU utilization, everything. This is what is the endpoint or URL. CA Advisor is exposing the metrics to this endpoint or URL. Also here, slash metrics means you can see this is this is the endpoint actually, slash metrics. That's a default endpoint. See, do you see all the metrics? Yeah, you have to slowly see them. Container CPU seconds total. Do you see that? Can you all see it? It will be difficult, but can you understand? It is exposing those metrics to this URL. From this URL, Prometheus is scraping all the metrics. Which metrics? All other 4 container metrics. Making sense now? So one target and whatever configurations you added in Prometheus config, you can see here, all the default ones added. See, metrics path added slash metrics. That's why it was shown a slash metrics default path. And if you go to home again here, this is where you put the PromQL. When you click on this metrics explorer, these are all the things it can explore. This is nothing but your PromQL. Execute. See, you will see the data 8.32. What is it? Process CPU seconds total. And you may choose anything here. Clean it up. And right, accordingly, you will see all the values. You may see in the table of format or graphical representation as well. As for the timestamp, if you keep the cursor, you can see the timestamp 2023 12:33 1:51 server time. Right? This is where if you further want to refine, you can add few parameters and refine this as well. enable query history. Like you can see what are all the queries you have executed. If you want to see 1 hour or any particular timings, you can put the timing here, which data you want to see, and so on. Enable autocomplete highlighting, enable linter, everything. You may modify it. Use local time, let's say. Now execute. Yes. 8:34. Do you see it's showing our time? 8:34. 42. Right? That's the Prometheus UI. And Grafana is also running on the same server on port 30,000. 3,000. Right, this is your Grafana where you can customize it. First, you have to add your data source here. See, like I told you, Prometheus can be integrated not only with Grafana can be integrated not only with Prometheus, but with all of this. Like App Dynamics, another monitoring tool, Amazon Athena, another monitoring tool, right? Apache, IoTDB, so many things are there. See here, right? Datadog, it can be integrated with Datadog, GitLab, so many things. Zira, it can be integrated with Zira. MySQL, right? New Relic, another database. Neo4j data source, another database. Oracle database, PagerDuty. So many other PostgreSQLs, OpenTSDB. Yeah, all of the ServiceNow Cloud Observability, it can be integrated with Splunk. Elk, it can be integrated with Elk as well, and so on. And out of which these are all the SQLite, so many are there, and we need Prometheus. So choose with which you want to integrate. You have to choose Grafana, Pyroscope, something else. Search for what you need. You may search here for Prometheus. Elasticsearch. Do you see here? So many things it can be integrated with Prometheus. Yeah, select it. Okay, add the new data source. You have to add the Prometheus URL, which it can use for visualization. Add it and test it. Say successfully it can connect. Done. Your data source is added. Now you can create your own dashboards. See, you can create a dashboard, add visualization, use this as a data source. See, you will see this page panel where you can select the query what you want to monitor. It's not that it is monitoring 100 metrics means you want to check all the 100, right? You may want to monitor few metrics. So you may add them in the dashboard for better visualization. Let's suppose I want to monitor some machine CPU cores. Okay. Run the query and you can see here the data. Okay, let's say I just want to monitor this always last 30 minutes data. Okay, see the graph. Also, not only this, it can provide you, this is a time series table. There are different types of visualization. Let's say I want to see it in the bar chart format. Or else that's what I told. Grafana can provide you beautiful dashboards, custom dashboards. Maybe I want to see like a statistical kind of, gauge kind of, different kind of charts, or else bar gauge, table format. It's a one core machine, right? So maybe I want to see this way, or else like you can choose depending on the metrics, heat maps. So many are there, right? You want to see it like a histogram, many things. or text, just simple text you want to see. Whatever, you may choose, see logs. Here it is not applicable. So it all depends on what you are monitoring. So this is best suited here. Okay. So you may give some name, panel title. See, let's say this is CPU core, something like that. Apply, save it, save this panel in the dashboard. Right? You can also, this is my visualization part. I can keep it. Maybe I want to create one more panel. You can add the panel, add visualization, one more metric. I want to monitor two metrics. Let's say container FS writes, something like this. Okay, I want to save it with FS writes. Applying and save both of them. You can arrange them like how you want to visualize it, or else I want to see always only last 5-minute data, right? Save it. This can be saved, and later on, whenever you want, you just come here, search for the dashboard. You may give proper names and put all the panels here. Let's say I want to monitor 5 metrics. You create panel for them and visualize them here. Instead of just going there searching for the metric each time, quickly you can further edit them. You can customize it much better. So many things are there. You can change those colors, a lot many things. See here, graph styles, it is showing like this. Do you want to show how much line width you want to keep? Right? See, it was showing that way. Do you see that change? So you can customize to your any level, right? Opacity, like you want to make it fill it up or else zero. So yeah, so many styles you want, you can just customize it. Sometimes these dashboards should be delivered to the client, so you have to make organize them accordingly. Got it? I have worked in one of the projects where Grafana customization, Grafana dashboard creation is the only the task. So many dashboards you have to deliver in the sprints to the clients. Every sprint you will be delivering certain Grafana dashboards to the client. The project is about monitoring the metrics from different telecom devices. So many devices will be there. You have to create dashboards, customize it as per the requirement. Client wants, okay, this color should be changed. They want the background to be black or blue. Like so many customization you can do. There'll be somewhere preferences. This UI keep on changing, so you have to keep searching them. This got modified. Default preferences. See this interface theme is default. You can set it like light, white background. You can do this. Time zone you can set. Okay, default IST. Right, you can change the whole theme. You can do many things, right? Now you are seeing a white background, white charts. We prepare with a white background only in this way. Right? So instead of monitoring here, this provides great visualization, isn't it? That's what Grafana does. So yeah, finally, this is the compose file. Any questions in the compose file and any questions till this part? Is this much clear for all? Any questions? Understood now what CA Advisor doing and Prometheus doing?
Yeah.
Similarly, you can monitor other servers also, any other Linux server, or else we have Jenkins. You can monitor Jenkins as well. Like, let's say you want to monitor some Jenkins jobs. This is my Jenkins server. I'm just starting it. Jenkins, if you want to monitor this Jenkins server, means let's say I want to monitor Jenkins jobs, not resource of the Linux server. So first that should expose the metrics to an endpoint, right? So for this server to expose the metrics to an endpoint, it doesn't do by default. So what you should do or what you can do. Let me log in. Actually, here under system settings, hmm, hmm. Right, you don't see any Prometheus thing here. You should configure Prometheus endpoint. It will not by default, I told you, right? It will not expose. What you should do? Plugin. Not in the updates. You should search in the available. Yeah, Prometheus metrics. Do you see? This is the one. Jenkins Prometheus plugin expose an endpoint. Do you see? This plugin helps Jenkins to expose its metrics to an endpoint. Default is /Prometheus. Like CA Advisor is exposing to /metrics, this is to /Prometheus. Understood? With metrics where Prometheus server can scrap, then Prometheus server can scrap metrics from that endpoint. So once you install this plugin, then it can expose the metrics. See, Prometheus plugin doesn't support dynamic logging. Jenkins need to be restarted for the update to take effect. Okay, some of the plugins don't need a restart, but some of them may need. Here, this plugin needs a restart. So, I have selected restart the Jenkins. Okay, from Jenkins restarted. Now go to dashboard or else actually manage Jenkins and system configurations where you have all the global settings. Let me go there. System configurations with all the global settings. Here you should see an option for Prometheus now where you will enable it. After installing plugin only, you will see this option. And now you can search for Prometheus. Yeah. See, do you see this? Prometheus. Default is /Prometheus. If you want, change it or else leave it. Okay. Now it can expose the metrics to an endpoint, meaning on this Jenkins server, if you hit /Prometheus, text-based format, it should show the metrics like this, where CA advisor is exposing. So that Prometheus can scrap from there. /Prometheus. /Prometheus. See here, if you keep the cursor, the path where Prometheus metrics should be provided. This is coming from Prometheus metrics plugin. Okay, maybe it was not loading here. Okay, so it took some time, but yeah. And here, what metrics you can search, like Jenkins, job. Let's say I want to search on jobs. See, job 3 details, job 2 details. Do you see all of that there? Compile job, package job. And there is something like job count. See, 12 jobs. Do you see that metric? Yeah, do you see this 12 jobs? Yeah, even you can monitor. Do you have 12 jobs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So all of them can be monitored. But Prometheus has to monitor it. Okay, it is exposing, but Prometheus has to monitor it. What should we do? See, it's still not here. What should we do? Jenkins is exposing to this endpoint. Prometheus have to scrape means what we should do.
You have to add in targets.
We have to add here in the targets, like we added C advisor. How do you add it in the targets? To Prometheus config file. See, C advisor we added. So you have to add that here in the Prometheus.yml, correct? Here, like we added one job, you can add another job. Jenkins. And here you may add the Jenkins server IP. You may also add metrics path. /Prometheus. If you want, you can change there itself in Jenkins so that it will expose to that point. Metrics path. The attributes should be added correctly. You can refer official documentation or else I can also refer here. See metrics path. Metrics path. This is how you should add. Where was it added? Okay. Here itself you can add, not under static configs. Prometheus. Okay. So I have added new config file should be added to the volume, right? Let us restart the containers. Let's see docker compose up -d. The new config file through volume should be added. It says Prometheus is up to date. Let me check. Docker PS. I don't think it might be added. Let us see. Let us refresh this. We should see the new target if it is loaded. Is it loaded? No. Right? New target is not added. What I'll do, I'll terminate Prometheus container. I'll force remove. -f, the name of the container is Prometheus. No such container. Oh, yeah, typo. Now, Docker compose. See, creating Prometheus because it's gone. And see, Prometheus is not running. Why? Let's see. See, it got terminated. To see the error, Docker logs container name, Prometheus. If there is error in the prometheus.yml, it will not work. See, error parsing file, some error. Line number 12. Something gone wrong. Line number 12. This is a line number 12. Targets. Correct only. Let me try removing the double quotes. And let me restart again. Okay, now see if it is running. No, again exited. Check the logs. Again, error parsing YAML file prometheus.yml. Maybe it was not taking this. Okay, let me remove it. Let me force remove the container. Yeah, new file to be updated. I stored there. I updated the file, but I did not remove it. So Prometheus is running. Do you see? Now, if it is running, this is how logs would be. Right? See, Docker logs, it's starting, it says all of them started and all. All right, now coming back, let me refresh this. I should see a new target. Yes, new target added. State should be updated in few minutes. Okay, state is up. And here now, configuration also added, new one. And here you can search for any Jenkins details. See, you may write like this, or else you can go here and search for anything is safe. Jenkins says so many things. Jenkins executor history, lot of data. I'm checking on job count value. See, right? The same can be checked on Grafana as well now, as Prometheus has got new data source. If you go and add new visualization, new panel, here I should see Jenkins metrics. Jenkins, yes. Jenkins job count value. You can search anything. I'm just searching on this. Okay, Jenkins job count value, this one. Okay, select it. Okay, run the query. See, you can see this time series thing, or else let's say I believe this is better for this, right? Stat chart is apt for this. So stat, and you can also put the thresholds to the value mappings. Like, let's say if it is 12, instead of number, it should display like okay, and it should be green. Suppose if it is value is you can also put a range, not only value, you can put a range, add a new mapping, a range. If it is between 1 to 10 or 11, okay, it should display like one. Of course, it doesn't make any sense depending on the job, you show it like a warning, but other parameters like CPU, memory usage, right? So you can do this way as well. It's like warning. And if it is like value is 5 jobs, it should be showing like critical, something like that, right? Let me put here 1 to 9. And if it is 11, okay, it's a critical. You can apply this for CPU memory utilizations, right? So instead of number, it will show like this. Okay, save it. Save this. Other two panels were there. I would like to arrange them as such for better visualization. Okay, now what I'll do, I will just delete some jobs here. Delete it. It will be 10, right? And what are the mappings we have given? 1 second. So 11 means critical. Okay, it is 11 now, right? I deleted one, it is 11. Let's wait. It should update here as well accordingly. Dashboards, new dashboard. It should be showing as critical, right? It will take a while to update and it should be showing as 11. 11 means it will show like critical. Let's wait. Understood, everyone?
Yep.
Any questions?
So mail notification is also possible, right? With this Prometheus
Mail
one, right?
notifications are also possible. You have to configure it separately. And also you need to have your own mail server.
Okay.
You have to configure alert manager separately. First, what is the flow? First, it should update here. Okay, like first it should update the new value here, and that will be updated in the Prometheus. First, Prometheus will pull the metrics, right? From there, Grafana. So it will take some time, and it is not yet updated here. It's 12. It's still 12. It has to. Yeah. See, now do you see 11? Okay, now that it was 11. Yeah, it should be showing here also. This is still, yeah, now it is 11. Now our dashboard should show like critical. Do you see that? That's how my value mapping works. Instead of number, if you want to see these things, that is also possible. Understood? So like I told you, Grafana is interesting. It's how you can customize to any extent you can customize them. That's the advantage of Grafana, a separate visualization. And similarly, we can also monitor some Linux servers. We shall take it up in the next class on Monday. Any questions from anyone?
If you want to monitor the Linux server, does it require any agent to install or directly we can monitor?
We need to install exporters, right? It doesn't default expose the metrics. For Prometheus also, we have installed Prometheus plugin.
Yeah.
Similarly, you have to install some exporters on those Linux servers
Okay.
so that they'll expose the metrics. Right? All right, then have a good day, happy weekend, and see you all on Monday morning. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.